dolls. Well, it's Thursday, and as y'all, if you've been watching all week, as you know, tomorrow is the live stream broadcast, question and answer session, free information about selling from home, yada yada yada. I am out sans the boy. Yes, as you can see, the young man is not with me. He's snoozing away. And I'm going to make a quick run to the grocery store. And I thought it would be a good time. I was kind of thinking about it, kind of how I got started selling online. Most specifically, the first venue online that I sold on was eBay. So, I wanted to give you all a little bit of that history. Not to, tell you how wonderful I am, or anything crazy like that, but to show you that anybody can do this. But before I can tell you that story, I've got to tell you this story. How did I even, find out about selling? Everybody has their first experience with sales of some sort, and mine came at a very, very young age. I was probably in about second grade, I think, maybe third grade, and our family and our next door neighbors had a garage sale, and that was my first experience ever with selling stuff that wasn't brand new. I mean, obviously I'd been to malls and things like that, but that was the first time that I knew that. Later, I had my own garage sale, and it was all of my sister. I can't even talk. My sister's little, she had a little precious wooden kind of school desk, but not school desk like you would think of it. It was just a little desk and a little chair. And it had been painted an ungodly blue color. But anyway, that was my cash table. And I had, like, I don't know, maybe a Barbie doll and an old purse. And, I don't know. I had like 2 or 3 items. And I made some signs, and I walked down to the end of the street, and I put a sign on a post and all this. And I think I had lemonade too. I think I did have lemonade. And, I think 3 people maybe drove by or something. And I sat out there all day with the garage door up and my little folding table of stuff and my cash table that was my sister's desk and all that kind of stuff. And I think, if I can remember right, I think one sweet lady probably stopped by and bought one thing, because I just remember thinking at the time, going, she's just doing this because I'm a kid. She really doesn't want anything. But anyway, this was years ago, and ever since that time, I was in Campfire Girls, so we sold candy and stuff, and I was always not like the top in the region, but I always met whatever goal I had set for myself. Hold on, my air conditioner is not cooling because I forgot to push the right buttons. Okay, the buttons are pushed now. So, I've always done that, and like I was in Y-Teens in junior high school, and I was the treasurer in a lot of different leadership organizations, and I was on drill team, and we had to sell door prize tickets, and I was always like top sales, and in sorority, we had different fundraisers and stuff like that, and I was always one of the top people. And all during this time, I had always attended garage sales and estate sales and moving sales and stuff like that, and had bought little things here and there, not a whole bunch, but a little bit. And then it was probably when I was in high school, maybe junior high, but I think it was more like high school, when my mother started having her big garage sales, usually once, sometimes twice a year. So that was my first experience with sales in general. But so how did I get onto eBay? Well, okay, here we go. And I'll try not to get too personal with it, but I'm going to have to give you some details, which is against my better judgment, because I know some of y'all are probably going to judge me or whatever, and that's fine. It's YouTube, I'm not going to feed the trolls, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I had gotten married for the second time in 2000, and at the time that man was making maybe $3,000 a month, lucky if he was making $4,000. He was in sales. And so in the span of the 2 years that we were together, due direct in part to my contacts and my motivation of him and my tips on selling and stuff like that, because he was in sales. He actually excelled in the company he was in, became one of the top sellers every month, and then we ended up forming our own company that became, I don't even know if I'm not going to mention it here, but it became, whoa, I'm out in the middle of the intersection. Okay. It became one of the fastest growing on the Forbes, what is it, the Forbes something list of 2002. Anyway, you see how relevant it is in my life now. But during that time that I was with him and encouraging him and tips on sales and contacts and marketing and all that kind of stuff, he started making anywhere from, I think our lowest month was about $8,000, and we had months up to $50,000. So yes, that he was making in a month that was bring home pay. Yes, you heard me right, $50,000. And so I'm still a very, I'm not a big, spend woman. And I think that maybe was part of the problem with the marriage, is that I wasn't materialistic. He professed himself to not be, but he ended up being extremely materialistic. Sidebar on that, and I'll tell you why it's a sidebar, but anyway, he ended up leaving me in 2002. I'll get back to that. Sidebar. He now is not in that industry anymore. The business collapsed. He's in trouble with the IRS. He's married to a woman younger than me, and I was already 15 years younger than him. And his life is in shambles. So I don't wish failure on anybody, but it just goes to show what happens when you have a skill set that you can share with another person, that it's not their skill set, it's your own. So back from sidebar, he left me unceremoniously and without warning in 2002. At that moment, we had, oh, there's a deer in the road. No, it's not a deer. Oh, good, it's just a sign. It looked like a baby deer. Yay, it's just a sign. At that time, we had in our account $7,200 and some change dollars. And yes, we were making 50, but here was the deal. He had a bajujul of debt, and so we had paid off the debt, paid off his car, and he gave away money like a drunken sailor to people. I think he had a guilt complex about being successful, and that is a thing. That is a thing. That's something actually you have to watch for when you start your own business is, are you prepared for the money you're going to make? Because if you're not, you're going to sabotage yourself, and you'll end up going back down, if not lower than you were before. But anyway, enough about him. He's not even in my life anymore. But anyway, like I said, he unceremoniously up and left. He demanded to have the checkbook, and I was like, fine. Because I didn't think he was leaving like forever. I thought he was mad. There was a precipitating event on that particular night where my first ex-husband was up to his shenanigans, and my second ex-husband used that as, I've had it, blah, blah, blah. And I thought he was just leaving for a while. Little did I know, right? Well, he took the checkbook, and of course I had the balance in there because I keep track of my records. He took out $7,000 and left me with $200. Now, my son at the time was about 5, somewhere around there. So he was a child, and I had the mortgage on the house was about $2,000. I didn't have a car payment on my car, but we had the utilities and all that other kind of stuff. So here I am by myself, and it was shortly after that he made it clear that he wanted a divorce. Okay, so in other words, I'm faced with the fact that this man who professed to, love me till the end of time, yeah, right, took just about literally every piece of money that we had and left. And so I didn't sit there, yeah, I did have my crying moments, but when it came to money, I was like, okay, I gotta pay bills. I gotta do something. So what did I know how to do? I knew how to have garage sales. So I had 2 big old garage sales / moving sales within the span of probably probably 5 or 6 weeks. The first one I had, garage sale, was literally a garage sale. It was just in the garage. And the second one I had was a moving sale, okay? And this was in a very short span of time. So, all in all told, I made over $8,000 with moving sale and garage sale stuff. Now, you have to understand, we didn't have a lot of stuff to begin with, so don't sit there and think, oh, well, yeah, you were making $50,000 a month, so you probably had a ton of stuff in the house. No, we didn't. That was the whole thing, is that he gave away money like a drunken sailor. I mean, I sold my bed. I did not sell my son's bed, but I sold my bed. I sold all the furniture in the house. So I was sleeping on the floor, okay? And this is the whole thing. When you don't have money, you don't have the luxury of not being humble, okay? So if you don't have money right now, if you're watching this and you don't have money right now and you're going, oh, I don't have it. If you have a bed to sleep in, be freaking thankful. I don't care if you don't have pillows or sheets, okay? If you have a cushioned surface to sleep on, even if you have a sofa and you don't have a bed, okay? It's better than sleeping on the freaking floor. But anyway, I'm a little bitter there. Okay, but moving on. What it taught me was that I do have a skill set and I do have abilities. I've been to college and everything else, but I'm talking about outside of college, that I have skills and abilities. So, blah, 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 blah. You know, I made a lot of money. Now, how did I get onto eBay? Well, see, eBay didn't come for probably another 6 months or so into my life. And it came because I was just, you know, farting around on the internet. This was a long time ago. eBay was still just a baby at the time. And the funny thing is that I didn't have a computer in my home because my ex-husband had taken, you know, the one computer that we had, and then I sold like all the TVs and stuff. So we didn't have anything. My son and I were living in this big, not big, but it was a 4-bedroom, you know, fairly good sized home. We're living in a home, you know, with nothing. Now, my son's stuff I didn't touch. You know, I left all of his stuff there because I didn't want it too disruptive. And I just told him, you know, he was little and he was wondering what was going on. And I said, well, I just want new stuff. So we're going to sell all the old stuff so we can get new stuff. And he was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So, so precious. I love my son. I can't tell y'all enough how wonderful he is and all the crap he's gone. Ooh, I'm sorry. All the stuff he's gone through in his life and how he's overcome it. But that's totally digressing. Okay, eBay. Stick to the point. Stick to the point, Wesley. eBay. Came into my life. Okay, and like I said, I didn't have a computer. So I started my eBay business from the library, from the public library. Now, my public library, you can use the internet for free, but you can only use it for like an hour or an hour and a half, something like that. I don't think it was 2 hours. And they put you on a timer, man, and if you weren't done, it just shut you down. So I learned how to do that, and I actually found 2 different libraries with computers. So, you know, I'd go to one and then I'd go to the other. But this was back in the day when I did not have a digital camera and I did not have a flatbed scanner or anything. So this is what I did, okay? I would take photographs of my stuff with a regular camera. I would take the film and get it developed. Money. I would take the pictures to Kinko's and get them scanned onto a disc. Money, money. And then I would take the disc to the library and put it in the machine and upload it to YouTube, which took forever. So don't tell me that you can't do this business because you don't have the top primo digital camera, or that you can't sell from home because you don't have a computer at home. You know what? Get over yourself. There are ways to do it. Yes, your margin is going to be lower because you have to initially do, you know, all those things. But guess what? Now, I have a computer in my home. I have internet in my home. I actually have cable and phone in my home. For a long time, again, because I couldn't, you know, pay the bill, we didn't have TV, we didn't have phone, we didn't have cable. We didn't have anything. So what did you do for a phone? I went to Target and I bought one of those cruddy throwaway phones with the minutes. And I only used it when I had to. People, come on, get serious. People, there are too many people out there that think, you know, things are necessities, like having a smartphone is a necessity and having, you know, all the super duper phone plans and stuff is a necessity. It's not. So again, I digress, so deal with it. But you know, eBay, that's how I started. That's how I started on eBay, you guys. I started with nothing. Now, in my selling since that time, I do not only eBay, but as you know, I do Amazon, I do Craigslist, I do garage sales. Still, I do, you know, ads in the newspaper. Those don't work as much as they used to, but, you know, the Craigslist is kind of taking place of that. But I would say probably in the history of my selling, the most expensive one item that I've sold was a 1982. Now I can't even remember what year it was. Yeah, I think it was a 1982 Mercedes S-Class, and the owner of the vehicle had been told it was only worth $2,000, and that, you know, kind of was presented with the, I'll give you $2,000 for that, you know, piece of garbage. And the owner just really felt like it was probably worth more. And so in just my little bit of research, I did probably less than 2-3 hours of research on it. I found out that that particular color, model, style, and everything was valued up to $13,000 because it had become a classic vehicle, but because it did need a little bit of work, because it sat for so long and it was a diesel engine, my client was able to sell the car for $8,000 or $8,500. Now I can't remember. I think it was $8,000. But that was the most expensive one item that I sold for a client. Now, of course, I didn't get the money for that because it was the client's vehicle. And then the least expensive thing, I've sold stuff for a nickel. Little toys, little tiny toys. So, I mean, tune in tomorrow, okay? And if you can, to that live stream. And if not, it'll be, you know, there archived for you to watch. But I have such a passion that if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, and if you can deal with all the aspects of owning your own business and being a one-man shop, selling online or just selling stuff in the secondary market is so worth it, because it, especially for people who've been faced with tragedy, whether your spouse has left you and you have no money, or you've got a bunch of kids, or, you know, I don't even know what, but it is so easy to do. And the main key to it is consistency. So I know I've talked a long time, and if you stayed to the end, I really appreciate it. You're awesome, and hopefully you got a feel for kind of who I am a little bit more, and what selling online, how you can do it. And again, tomorrow, the online thing on Vocal. So if there should be a link in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching it on Facebook, there's not going to be a link in the description, but on my personal page and on my different group pages, there will be you'll see a big banner. It says like Vocal, and it'll give you all the information. You can click that link. But otherwise, just go to vocalvokle.com, and you should be able to search it probably by my name, which is Wesley GW in there. And if you can't find it, message me and I'll send you the link, okay? But, you know, again, I've rambled, I know, I'm sorry, but want to let you know that it's never impossible. You know, you can do this. It's not a difficult thing. So I'm excited for the live stream tomorrow. I'm going to really talk about, you know, how to find stuff to sell, how to sell your own stuff, how to determine pricing, and pros and cons of the different, you know, venues. I don't know how long I'm going to stream. If nobody shows up, I'm not going to sit there and talk for 2 to 4 hours, you know, by myself, yabba dabba do. But even if I have just one person on the live stream, hopefully they'll ask questions and it'll be like a one-on-one thing. But hopefully, I'm hoping a lot of you guys and gals will watch, and it'll be longer, you know, a longer stream. I mean, more people, and so I can do a longer stream, because you know, there's no end time to this, and it'd be great to just, you know, share information with y'all. So it's at 12:30 Friday, the 27th of July, 2012. I said 2010 in another video. I'm like, I'm crazy. But yeah, so just tune in, get ready, send me questions. If you can't be on, send me your questions today. Today's going to be like the last day, people, because I got to get ready for it tomorrow. And just send me your questions and I'll answer them. You know, I'll use like your name, and if you have a business or whatever, give me your website and I'll plug your website and all that kind of stuff. But I'm really here to help, and I'm serious. I'm not going to be sitting there going, oh, and if you want the answer to this, you need to buy my ebook. I don't do any of that. I actually give you real information. So I think I've talked enough, plenty enough. So you guys and gals have a delicious, delightful, delirious day, and I will see you tomorrow on the live stream.